Hey everyone, in our last video we started seeing problems with the carburetor on this E130, smoke coming out and sputtering. So we disassembled what was needed to remove the carburetor from the tractor, brought it over to the bench and started disassembly, removed all the seals, cleaned out all the passages and then blew them out with compressed air. Everything now cleaned and laid out on the bench, we begin with the reassembly in part 2. And that's going to start with the bowl. We're going to use one of the provided O-rings to put a new O-ring in here where we had previously removed it. I have just a small amount of grease on my fingers, and I get some grease on that seal so it goes in smooth. Just going to press it right down in this recess. Make sure it's in that detent. That should be it. Next, I'll be reaching for the green Loctite. Placing a small pool in an accessible area. Using a pick or a similar sharp object, I'm going to get some of that Loctite on the end, like a pen. And then I'm going to go around the perimeter of where this plug is going to sit. Refilling the pick as needed, I see a blue silhouette forming around that inner perimeter. When enough is on there, I'll take the plug, ensuring that it's clean, and pushing it right down. There should be no resistance whatsoever, just going to seat on top of that Loctite. At that point, I'll add a little bit more Loctite around the perimeter again on the top of the lip. We can see that this is actually very little Loctite being used. Using a small brass mallet or a drift with a hammer that's made of brass or something soft, I go and I hit that piece. As it flattens out, it pushes towards the perimeter, locking the plug into place. Applying just a little bit more after I hit it, I want that blue silhouette going all the way around the perimeter, as we see right here, and then I'll leave that to dry. This is a wicking Loctite, that's what green is, and that's what we're going for to help improve the seal over just using that plug alone. A small amount of grease on my finger, I work it in and grab that second O-ring. I'm going to get the grease distributed on there and place that O-ring right over here in this detent on the body of the carburetor. Just going to seat it down in there until it's sitting properly. Just like that. Another minute amount of grease on my finger, I'll work it in, and picking up the small jet, we could see that there's an O-ring on there, but I have not been provided a replacement in the kit, therefore I'm doing the best I can, applying a little bit of grease, and dropping it down in this direction, essentially O-ring first. Once it goes in there, I'll give it a shake, straighten it up, a bit more grease on my finger, and I apply it to this seal, just enough to give it a little bit of shine. Less is more. Seal is then placed onto the plastic piece such that the seal lines up with the grooves, only going in one direction, gently tapping it down into position. Doesn't really lock in. With that all set up, I'll grab the housing of the carburetor. And looking at the O-ring and the emulsion tube, I'll line up those two holes, first the emulsion tube, and then the place where we just installed the O-ring over here. Make sure the seal is straight. And I'll press everything into position. It should lock in, also securing the jet that we had previously installed in the plastic. Around the perimeter, we could still see the edge of that O-ring. We expect to see that. Everything has been installed correctly. The float has been cleaned and tested. It floats. I'll install the float needle now in this notch. And then I'll drop it into position on the carburetor body such that the needle falls into that hole right there. And we are lined up to insert the pin. I'll grab the new pin that was provided. One side is flattened. The other side is round. We are not going to use the flattened side. We're going to push it in round side first. Going to have to align the float till it goes all the way through and out the other side. This is the point in which it stops. The float is now installed. We can see it pivoting back and forth. I'll now blow into the fuel pipe to check my work. And when the float is up, then I can't push any air through. And when it's down, I can push air through. So this is looking good now. The cover could go on one of two ways, but I refer to the video so I know which way it goes on, and that ensures that the rest of the assembly will be correct, or I'll have problems if it's backwards. And now, that bowl is seated onto the carburetor. I'm going to take the hex screws that I bought in the last video, place them in, just give them a starting turn there, followed by the other one. At which point, using my M4, they'll be progressively snugged down. We're almost done with the Carb. 2 pieces of foam are provided for these plastic ends. We needn't disassemble everything to get them on here. They can be slid on if they're done carefully. With caution, I bring it over this linkage, stretching it only very slightly to clear this piece. It becomes tangled upon itself, so I'm going to take a minute on this flat piece of plastic to straighten everything back out until it looks uncompressed again like that. At this point, I could just hold that plastic piece out and flip it over this small section, bringing it into position. The first foam section is on. We'll put on the second foam section now. Using extreme care again, the next foam section will go around one side at a time. Once completely on the first side, it's stretched over to the second side, then bent around that smaller tab over the screw, bringing it into position on that white collar. At this point, the same procedure will be used to bring it up over the white collar and into position. Just like that, both foam pieces are installed without having to deassemble the entire choke and linkage assembly. I'm not going to use the idle spring screw that was provided. There's enough tension on mine, so I'll put that in my spares. Also, there was an extra screw provided that I don't need because I purchased mine at Ace, and a spring that I do not need to use, so that'll be put in the spares. I also did not use this washer as well, and will be put in the spares. Here we have the 2 linkages that were taken off of the Carb. I bring them back onto the towel now. Working first with the one that includes the spring, it locks right here in this fitting and then spins like that. So the hook is pointed outward and the top hook is pointed backwards. The spring then has a hole which it will be locked into, completing the installation on this side. The linkage on the other side will go through this hole here, up top, just like that, and the hook points forwards. They may fall off a couple times during this reinstallation, but that's how they're assembled. Moving on to the manifold now, we have these old seals that I'm going to remove. Comes out easy with the pick. We can see how badly these seals were distorted. No matter, I've ordered new seals and they're already here for installation. A link to those seals will be provided in the comments below. I'll take the opportunity, however, to wash out this manifold, remove any dirt, also clean up those mating surfaces on the end. My neighbors Chewy and Leia wanted to be in the video, so we took a moment to let them hog the camera. There's Chewy, and there's Leia, a little more camera shy. Now I'll blow this out with air. Now it's ready for assembly. Here's our new manifold O-rings, identical to the ones that I've removed. I have some high temp grease off to the side. I'm going to coat these O-rings in a light coating of that high temp grease, at which point I could install them one at a time into the manifold. Just working it in around in a circle until the O-ring is fully seated. Looks a lot different condition than the O-ring that I'd removed. Holding the Carb that plug is facing forwards, we're able to marry this up to the manifold like this. We're going to need that gasket in between, however. We've gotten a couple of gaskets. We'll take a look at which one this one is. Here I have the correct gasket. It'll sit right on there like that. Take our studs from before and bring it from the back of the carburetor forward and through the gasket. Just like that. Now we're ready to install the manifold on here. Grab that now. We can see that square on the manifold is pointed upward. Now I'll just turn the slack out of these studs by hand. Again, using this really, really small wrench from before, we're able to tighten this down, just snug it down. Remember, it's pulling plastic tight, so it's not advisable to go too tight or you could break something. Interesting note, this area called out before for this gap, this is in the fabrication of the plastic causing this, not a leak or not because it's on loose. Here's that housing that connects the carb to the air filter. I'm just going to clean this out now, remove any dust or debris from it. Next will be this gasket with the small hole in it. Will match up to the small hole on the carb. All the contours here match up very nicely on this gasket. This airbox section is seated right on those two studs against that gasket, which leaves only the two nuts remaining. So I'll screw them in now by hand. At which point I'll go back and forth, snugging both of them down. Again, not too tight. We're going into plastic. Just snug. The carburetor, manifold, and airbox are now fully reassembled. We could take this piece down to the tractor for reinstallation. First order of business, I want to clean up these intake ports on these heads. Using a bit of carb cleaner and a paper towel, they clean right up. I can't tell if that was oil or dirt or grease that got around the old seals, but it's gone now. I'm also going to clean up this breather port right here. I've brought some grease with me for the next step. And what I'll do now is apply a thin coat of grease around these ports so those seals don't buckle when I put them on. I'll also apply some grease to each of the seals themselves. Not a lot, just a little. Bringing it into position, I want to connect that lower linkage on the right first. Realize it's hard to see, but I could just hook it around this. It snaps right in and it's done. The one on the left fell off. I'm just going to place it right back in where it was previously and let it hang. I'll remove this linkage from its plastic fitting. Now inserting that linkage into the carb, I could raise the carb into position and snap it back into that fitting. Using a 3/8 socket, the 4 manifold bolts will gently be brought into position. I had to use the wrench for this one because of clearance issues with the socket. The other one worked fine with the socket and extension. Once I got it started, however, there was more than enough room to use the socket to bring the bolt in. It's not straight, but does the job. I'm fitting them in loosely. I don't want to tighten them down until all the bolts are in and they're all fully seated, and then I could start a torquing sequence. At that point, I'll go around to all 4 and just give them a little snug. That's all that's required. I'll grab this spring now and place it back into the hole here on the manifold. Give it a little test, and that's working just fine. This spring here from the right side linkage is next. I bring that one down and place it into the hole right here next to the linkage. And that's working well too. Making my way to the left side, we have that final linkage to connect, and this one simply snaps into that black plastic piece. It should sit under that mechanical lever as shown. We deflect it, and everything is working good. Finally, we connect that gray and black cable into the solenoid. It's key to only fit in one direction. Now I'll reconnect this small hose on the back of this air filter housing. It's got a barbed fitting. After which this second larger hose is seated right on top of that breather port. It's a little finicky, but eventually it goes in. I conduct now one last final inspection to make sure everything is connected correctly before I proceed on to the next step. I realized then I did not install the fuel hose before installing the carburetor. No matter, I could still install it. It's just not as easy to do so because it's here under on the bottom. So I push it all the way up to that neck. The other side making its way to the barb fitting on the fuel pump. And while this hose clamp going to the fuel pump is quite easy to put back on, given the clearance that we have, the same can't be said for the one going to the carburetor, which is why it should be installed before the carburetor is installed. I ended up getting smaller clamps to secure it properly. At this point, we have enough back together to do a test. The fuel hose is completed. Everything is back on with the carb. Now let's run it. It will take a few attempts to have the fuel pump fill up the bowl before it runs properly. It'll smooth out in about 5 to 10 seconds. Much improved, and my bellowing black smoke problem is now gone. So we can continue with the assembly, though I will wait a bit for the engine to cool back down. At this point, I conducted a tune-up with the tune-up kit. You could click a link to a video on this I've already made here in the top right corner. The old plugs were indicative of a rich mixture, but the ignition timing is good. Also, new oil filter, and gas filter. The new air filter will go on shortly. I've stored these two screws right here. During disassembly, I'm going to remove them now. The entire cowl is laid right back down into position, ensuring the bolts that secure them are still out far enough it should seat right down. Then, using a 3/8 socket, those bolts will all be tightened down, securing it into position. Those two remaining top screws are now installed with a 1/4-inch socket. The screws that I'd reinstalled for the fuel pump will be removed, at which point the fuel pump will be reinstalled, and using a 5/16 socket, those screws will go back in. Gently snugging them down. At this point, the 4 bolts holding on the fan shroud will be installed with a 5/16 socket. Then I'll put some of that grease around the fitting of the new air filter and install the air filter in place. Followed by the air filter cover. I'll just screw down those screws by hand. All that's left now is the hood. Installed on that 45-degree angle, it locks into place, and I close it shut. Then reopening it one more time to install the electrical connection for the headlights. And that's it. It's finished. And that concludes the series of the carburetor removal, cleaning, and reinstallation on this E130 tractor. I hope you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below, helps me out a lot when you do, and hit that subscribe button to be informed of more videos like this when they come out. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.